Tommy Castellanos at quarterback, Squirrel White at wide receiver from Tennessee. Of course, Castellanos coming over this year from Boston College. A couple key transfers for Florida State. For you specifically, when looking at this team this week, preparing for your show and everything, and just kind of getting ready for this matchup, what are some of the key players, especially the transfers that stand out for Florida State that could pose a threat on Saturday?
Well, I think first and foremost, it starts with the most important position in sports, as far as I'm concerned, and that's quarterback. And Thomas Castellanos is back there. Talked about this last night on our Sports Splits programming that, Gus Malzahn back as offensive coordinator. He loves a running quarterback. And so the natural thing to do is for people to say, hey, boy, this guy could give Alabama fits with the combo of Gus Malzahn and Thomas Castellanos. And my retort to that is, yes, I'm not going to say it's impossible. At the same time, I think you guys are getting visions of Nick Marshall. Thomas Castellanos is not Nick Marshall. Now, he may be on par with him in terms from a passing idea. I don't know. But in terms of running, Nick Marshall, there's no doubt in my mind Nick Marshall is faster. I have no idea how fast Thomas Castellanos is, and Nick Marshall is faster. That's all I can say. He's also more elusive. I like Thomas Castellanos. I think he's a good player. I enjoyed watching him at at Boston College last year. He has run his mouth a little bit, which doesn't bother me as much as it bothers some other folks. I'm not a huge fan of trash talk, but at the same time, it doesn't bother me all too terribly much. I apologize. I'm at my workplace, and sometimes I get a phone call. But, I'm thinking that in the end, Thomas Castellanos is going to be the most important player in this particular game for either side, really.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see that. And then when you look at this offense, which was really the struggle last year with DJ at quarterback and just not having the guys step up that needed to, talk about the receivers a little bit. How do you view them? What do you see in guys? I saw Squirrel White came over from Tennessee, obviously a familiar player for this Alabama defense from last year and a couple of years prior. We know about him coming over. Deuce Robinson comes in, posing a threat. I mean, well, let me ask, is there a threat on this field for Bama's secondary in this game?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Deuce Robinson, who transferred over from Southern Cal, he's a dude. He's good. Mm-hmm. Squirrel White's pretty doggone good. He had a big catch against Alabama a couple years ago. And, whenever you're playing your home state team like Squirrel White would be, he was at Clay Chalkville. He was on the same team with Jalen Mbakwe. I mean, can you imagine how difficult it must have been? I think DJ Barber, who was, he got in some trouble at Auburn, I think he was on that team too as a linebacker. I mean, they just had dudes. But, Squirrel White's not a bad player at all. Now, he's not going to be all SEC. I don't think that at all. At the same time, you look at Deuce Robinson. This is a guy that's coming over from Southern Cal. I mean, he's got a lot of talent. I mean, they liked him a lot at USC. For whatever reason, it just didn't work. Now, I think he's a great player, and I think he can be very dangerous against Alabama. So, I mean, those are two guys right there that just stand out immediately in terms of, hey, could they give you fits? Now, the other guys I don't know quite as much about. I know Elijah Moore is a redshirt freshman. I'm trying to think. Gavin Blackwell is another guy who I don't know a ton about, but their two starting receivers, I think can be pretty good. The other guy that's very interesting, and obviously, again, another guy is going to be playing his home state. He's going to be playing the team he used to play for, and that's Roydell Williams. Jimmy and I took some heat the other day because we talked about Roydell Williams a good bit. And everybody's like, well, he's not even going to start. There's going to be Osamane Croma, the guy, the freshman that's coming in from Georgia that Auburn wanted very desperately. Well, it turns out Roydell is going to start. And frankly, I get it. That's what I would do too if I were Florida State. I'd want to play the guy that's playing against his former team. I'd want to play the experienced back who can help pass protect, who knows, because Roydell is a good blocker. I remember that well. And so I'm on board with Florida State starting him. At the same time, I think Alabama's going to know his tendencies too. So, they've got some guys. Again, I come back to the chemistry question. When you go to the transfer portal this hard, and again, they did it on the defensive side too. They've got some dudes on the defensive side. They've got some dudes along the offensive line. But the thing is, like Darrell Jackson, I think he came in from Miami, right? This is a guy who's going to be playing nose guard. He's huge. He's like 6'5", 350. He's going to be going up against Parker Brailsford, who is much smaller. But Parker Brailsford at the same time is very technically sound, and some people think he could win the Remington Award. So that's going to be an interesting battle to watch. And I just Earl Little's on this team. I mean, people forget about that because he transferred from Alabama a few years ago. And he's penciled in as a starter. So there's a lot of subplots to this. I mean, especially when you consider Alabama's the team that kept Mike Norvell and Florida State out of the playoffs a few years ago. Then all the talk about, was Alabama ever offering Mike Norvell or not? I personally don't think that ever happened. Mike Norvell intimated it did. There's just a lot going on with these two teams.